Alright everyone, welcome back to another watch and talk here at Automotive Anatomy. As you guys can tell, I'm showing you guys proof. The car is actually dirty. Um, yeah, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, I think, a month, I didn't wash the car. And then it drizzle. And then, funny enough, this same day that I'm washing the car, it started drizzling. And so, yeah, so it drizzled while I was washing the car, and I was like, oh, great. But I was determined to wash it just because I hadn't washed the car in a long time. Um, and so, yeah, I need to really rotate those tires because they're really beat up from the front. They still have thread, but the ones in the back are actually in great condition. And so I need to just, that front wheel drive power. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. I hope you're finding yourself in a very nice place in life. And if not, I can assure you that with time and positive mindset, things do get better. So thank you for being here. So let me paint you guys a picture. And the moment the moment this incident happened, which was not an incident, but I guess it was this experience, I should say. I knew. I came out of the car and I told my I came out of the store and I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna talk about this in the wash and talk. So it's a Saturday around 3 to 4 p.m. I'm gonna go to Domino's Pizza to pick up pizza for the family. Um, and usually my wife is the one that gets down. We order through the phone or through the internet. And I get out, right, and so I go in and there's a gentleman up front. Not super old. I mean, maybe like in late 20s, maybe early 30s or mid 30s. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And he just gives me like a look, like, how hi, And I was like, I ordered through the phone. Sorry, the internet. And he just gives me a look and he's like, what would you like to order? And right when he said that, I realized like, oh, like, I was like, oh, I ordered through the internet, so I kind of slow down my speech. And he goes, oh, internet? I'm like, yes. He goes, oh, okay. Then he kind of like panicked a little bit, right? He kind of like look at the registrar, and then he turns around and gets a ticket. And then before he gets a ticket, he comes back. He's like, what's the name? I said, it's under Gus. He goes, oh, okay. He goes and he grabs it, and then he puts it, and then I was holding cash in my hand. And then he's like, how are you going to pay it? I say, cash. And I can see like his hands are like a little shaky. And I'm like, oh, cash. And obviously you guys know that I work in education. So right away, maybe it's not fair for me to assume. But I saw him like, okay, he might be in a spectrum of autism or spectrum of something. And so I was like, cool, I'm chilling. I'm going to have the most patience as possible. And I saw the manager, kind of looked from the back. I guess they were busy and they were short staffed, as you guys may know that we're a little bit of short staffed. We don't lack people, but we're just short staffed. Let me pause this now. All right, my apologies. I had to stop by. Our neighbors, for whatever reason, left their cats outside, like, just on a collar. And there was these dogs that they let run loose, which I don't know why, because then they do their business and nobody picks up after them, whatever. So I was like, oh, they better not attack the cat. So you know how it is. I love animals. So I was like, hold on, let me run out there. And luckily my wife heard the dogs, so she ran outside, and the owners of the cats actually didn't even know. So my wife just already let them know, like, hey, your cats are outside, so be careful. We think the same. That's why we marry each other. Anyways, so I can see that we have a short staff in the store, and she's just kind of glancing like, okay, like, I think he has a handle. So I give him the cash. He, I think, had a hard time opening up the drawer because he clicked some stuff and the cashier didn't open, right? And so he's like, crap. And so like he looks back and the manager goes, he didn't even have to say anything, so the manager goes up front, gives him her keys. And then he grabs the keys, and I can see his hand shaking. Now it came out to like 36 cents, let's just say, as an example. But it was $34. I gave him 35. I was prepared. So when he opened up the drawer, like he even I saw when he counted the money, he counted in a very distinct way. most of the time, we'll get the money and we'll count it, sideways. He was counting and he had one hand over the other one. So like to me it was a little difficult. So to even count like that. So he counted it and he counted 33 because one of the dollars was stuck, um, and then he was about to ask me like, oh, you gave me, and then he's like, let me count it again. So he counted again, and this time, yes, he got 34. So just to paint you guys a picture, like he's nervous, and I'm the only one in the store. There was another lady sitting down, but that goes to show you, like when you're nervous to be in a in a situation like this, matter if it's one person, obviously there's 30 more people, then yes, you're gonna get more nervous. But just to paint you guys a picture, so he counts it. The cashier thing didn't open. Gets the key. Finally, the thing opens. He puts the $4, $5 in the singles, and then the 20, and then he realizes, oh shoot, the receipt didn't print. I don't know how much I owe him. So then he starts getting a little bit of change, and then he's like I'm looking at him, and he's grabbing chain, and then he just stops. So he's trying to do the math, and he's like, and he just like freezes, like thinking about the freaking math. And I'm like, it's okay, bud. I'm like, that's fine. Keep the change. And he goes, no, no, no. I'll get it for you. I was like, no, no, no. You're good, man. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, man. You have yourself a great day, man. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it. He goes, oh, okay. Have a good day. And I came out and I got sentimental. It it hit me, and even as I'm talking about it right now, I I don't know how, you know I don't know what it feels like to live with some type of challenge in my life. But as soon as I gave my wife the piece, I said, "Hey, there was a gentleman there with, I think he's in the spectrum." I kind of just told her what happened, and then she was like, "Those are the best workers. They show up. They do the best. They try. They don't. They're not here for the drama. They're not here to talk about the people. They're just here to work." And I can attest to that because when I worked in fast food, we had a gentleman that had autism, and we just put him to clean, and then he learned the cashier, and he did an amazing job. He was there on time. He took pride in his work. He never gossiped. He just did his work. And I got upset, just thinking that there's people out there who would be mean to individuals with some type of learning disability or physical. I'm the guy who cries when I watch the show What Would You Do? I don't know. I don't think it comes out anymore, but there's a show called What Would You Do, and there's hidden cameras, and actors play, being mean to people, the actual people that may have, they may be actors themselves that have some type of Down syndrome or things like that, and um, I don't know. I just felt very emotional that here this gentleman is working, obviously in a uncomfortable situation for him. He's shaking just to cash me out, and man, it it made me emotional, to say the least. So I think the reason why I want to share with you guys that story is that maybe some of you guys have family members, or you guys know of someone who has those type of challenges, yet he's showing up to work. How many people that are quote unquote normal, whatever that means, but don't have a learning or a physical challenge, you hear them to be so negative? Oh, they don't pay me enough. Oh, this and that. It's like, man, like, you don't understand what it feels like to be in a situation where something so easy or as normal as just cashing somebody out, it's a major challenge. But yeah, the gentleman's still showing up, and he didn't look new. His clothes were dirty, like it wasn't like his first day. And so it just goes to show you that we're short staffed, and yeah, you have individuals like this are showing up to work. They're putting in the work. They're earning their money, and they're providing a service. And so it brought me to think. For me, it got me to think about gratitude, and I've been really trying to practice gratitude. And I think that I was just in that moment, I didn't expect that life lesson, right? That incident, as simple as just picking up pizza to meet this individual. My wife ended up leaving a long positive review on Yelp about how helpful he was, and he went out of his way to make sure that we had the best service possible. Because we understand that for Yelp, everybody likes to leave negative reviews, but they don't take the time to leave positive ones. And so he didn't have a name tag, so we made sure that we said on Saturday at specific time. And I don't know, I think like I mentioned to you guys a lot, it's one of those things that one day we're not gonna be here. And so, how is it that you are treating people? How is it that you're leaving your legacy? Um, I truly believe in this idea that I don't remember who said it, but they say that you die two times in this world. The first one when you physically die, like the whole world's gonna do, you're gonna die eventually. But the second one is when the last person mentions your name, and so the last person that mentions your name, that's when you die the second time, and that's it. And that's always been interesting to me because you know I get the pleasure to wash a car right now because of the hard work that four, five, six, seven, 8 generations ago in my family lineage did. And the crazy thing is that I don't know any of those people, right? I don't know anything about my story. I mean, the farthest I go back is my grandma, and that's it. And she passed away a couple years back, and I didn't get to see her again since I left Mexico. And so that was the main reason why I wanted to go back. And so when I finally was able to go back, she had passed away. So, um, but you know, going back to that, like I mean, she put in a lot of work for me to be able to go to school. While my mom was in this country working. Um, so those sacrifices, right? Like, um, you start really contemplating about some of the different things that other people have done in your family, and the same thing that you're doing, right? Whether you're a male or a female, whether you have kids or you don't have kids, things that you're doing for your family members or yourself, which is super important as well. Trying to it's difficult to be that one person who's trying to change the trajectory of whatever you know seem to lineage of traditions or cycle, whatever that cycle is for you. For me, I know that financially we've always had challenges, but we were never poor. I mean, I'll be lying to you guys if I say we were poor. Now, if you guys were to have seen the way we grew up, my family and I, you'd be like, man, you guys were poor. But no, there was always somebody who had a way less financial and access to different things. I mean, we had a one or two pair of shoes, and we had holes on them. We would you know patch them in Mexico. When we got here, we got a little bit more spoiled. I mean, and by spoiled, I meant we would go to Skechers. I don't know if any of you guys remember BOGO, buy one get one half off. Um, of course, kids in school made fun of me because I was wearing Skechers and they were wearing Adidas or Nikes. But that's just because they're kids. They don't know. Like, obviously now growing up, I'm like, well, yeah, you're a kid. Like, what do you know? What do you know about earning money and having things like that? And for me, it's crazy because I was so excited to see those shoes. I would go to Kmart and I would get those shoes from Kmart. Um, and it wasn't until we would go to school where people would be like, "You're wearing Skechers. Like, what's wrong with Skechers?" Like, they're like, "Oh, those are for poor people." And I was like, um, "You don't know what poor means, because I had gone to school with people that didn't have shoes, and so in Mexico, of course, and so teachers, I think, would do some stuff for them. They would give them at least sandals. But that's like I mentioned, there was a lot of emotions. There was a lot of uh, different thoughts that came to my mind when these gentlemen helped me because I admire that guy, man. He's going to work and putting himself in uncomfortable situations because for whatever reason, whether it's a learning disability or just a personality, you know, um, I think often we don't have the patience, and that's something that I've been trying to practice whenever I go to the store. There's times that somebody helps me, especially when they're bagging the groceries, and if I see that they're just lower than usual, I'm chilling. I let them know, take your time, man. It's all right. I have the whole day. And that usually, I think, to me, I hope that that's reassuring. Like, oh, okay, I don't have to rush. Um, but I think we're just in a society where we're constantly rushing, man. That I can see how if if somebody would have been in front of me at this pizza place and they would have given this guy a hard time, I would have freaking. I don't care if I go viral for cussing this person out, but I would definitely share a little piece of my mind, because that's something that I've always been. I don't know. I think it comes from just growing up and my mom, um, kind of teaching me that. My grandma always teaching me, like, hey, like, you don't make fun of somebody who looks different, speaks different. You just don't do that. And if I ever catch you, or anybody tells me at school that you make fun of somebody with a speech impairment, physical impairment, back then there wasn't, I guess, that much attention cognitive. They just thought, oh, they're dumb. They're burros. They don't want to study hard. Now obviously we know, dyslexia and autism and all these things. But obviously the simple ones, which was, if someone has a stuttering problem, a speech impairment, I think my mom and my grandma always made sure to say, like, if I ever catch you making fun of somebody like that, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you. Excuse my language, but that's what they would say, and they would, and I mean, they hit me for different reasons, but not for that, because I knew better. Um, but even then, they didn't hit me as much as they hit my brothers. But honestly, I think they deserved it, because they were just knuckleheads. And I was pampered, and I was the youngest. I'm the youngest, but that's the idea. That's how I grew up. You don't make fun of people that look different, speak different, have some type of disability. I don't even know if disability is the right word. Some type of challenge, and that's just the way my family has grown up, and that's definitely a soft spot. Not nobody in my family has any type of speech or cognitive disability, but it goes to show you that just because something doesn't, quote unquote, affect you on a personal level, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be aware. And I think that's the reason why I like to have this conversation with you guys. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't apply to me. There's a lot of things that does apply to me, but for me to be able to share, to say, hey, at the end of the day, be open minded, be respectful of others, um, and really just have a sense of gratitude. I think that's honestly the best blessing that you can have for yourself and for others. I really believe that once you interact with different people, and you bring positivity, um, that second time around that you're gonna die, the last time that somebody mentions your name, it'll be prolonged a little bit more. Um, I think the more people you benefit in a positive way, I think that that's really the best way to go about it. And I've said it before, I'll keep saying it again. Like, no one's listening to this Washington talks except you guys, obviously. Um, but once someone's gone, that's when people start realizing, like, damn, like, what was he up to? And then they're gonna start seeing, this is what I was up to. And some of you are gonna be like, yeah, dummy, like, I've been listening to this. And not to say that I have all the right answers, because I don't. There's a lot for me to learn, and I honestly learn from you guys. Just the comments and the different stories. Sometimes you guys don't feel comfortable leaving them on the comments, and you guys DM me about, hey man, your last Washington talk, this is what I was thinking. I was like, oh cool, no problem. And it just goes to show you that there's always something to learn. There's always something to be appreciated and be grateful for. Um, and at that moment, man, that gentleman showed me that, hey, he's showing up, even if he's scared, even if he's nervous. So what's my excuse? What's my excuse to pursue some of the stuff that I want? What's my excuse to not spend time with my, people that I love, or people that bring me joy and happiness and that motivate me? We need to be brave, and we learn from these individuals. Um, I've always it's crazy because like I've never been like to be of that mentality that like my life sucks. Um, I've been in situations where like I get frustrated, you know. Especially when I was trying to go to school. There's my neighbor telling me like, "Hey, it was raining earlier." I'm like, "Yeah, like crazy weather." Um, I've been in situations where I was stressed out. Not gonna lie about not being able to get into grad school at first. Mm, I can definitely tap into that story later on. Um, had to argue with people and beg to get into grad school. It's kind of crazy since I was paying for it, um, but I mean, those were my life, my quote unquote worst moments. Like I've never been, I don't know what hunger means. I don't know what poverty means. I don't know what, real difficult times mean. Um, and and part of that's the reason why maybe sometimes I'm very like nonchalant about challenges. Um, I don't think that we should dwell on them. But then again, like I mentioned, I haven't been through nothing nearly compared to other people, and so not to say that obviously trying to minimize whatever you are going through, because we all have different levels of challenges and things going on in our lives. But I think it always helps to know that there has to be that mentality that you're gonna get over it, that you can definitely continue, that you can surpass whatever major challenge at that moment is affecting you. Um, Obviously, sometimes it's hard to do it alone. So you either seek for help or you are part of a community that can help you, and that's the reason why I do these Washington talks, because this is like a way for me to communicate with like-minded individuals like yourselves, of whatever's in my mind. Um, and I know that some of you guys can definitely relate. Some of you guys, leave comments like, "Hey, man, I appreciate this talk, man. I'm going through some hard times." And again, hard times are different for different people, so don't minimize what your hard time is, but understand that there's a solution. There's a way out through anything. A buddy of mine just recently lost his mom, and he's trying to do the best he can. He's obviously very young to go through that experience. We're all gonna go through that. Um, Most of us, if mom goes first, but it's difficult, right? But you have to be able to understand that there's a phase of grief, there's a moment of that, and then you have to overcome it, because it sounds so bad, but life continues, and time waits for nobody, and we're just micro micro tiny little moment in time. If the average span of life is 70, 80 years, and we're in 2023, that should give you an idea of how we're insignificant in the grand scheme of things. um, but we're not insignificant during those times that you're alive. And so I think if I want to leave you guys, wrap you guys in this Washington talks, I know it's not as high energy as others. It's to say this: be patient, especially if you're at the store, if you're anywhere and there's somebody with a challenge helping you. Be patient with them, even if you're running late. You know, um, it's it may be a major thing for them, and for you, it's just like, come on, bring me up. I gotta go. Um, just be patient with anybody. I think that's super important. Um, and be grateful for what you do have. Be grateful for uh, the blessings that you continue to get, and if you think that there's not much to be grateful around at the moment, then just be okay with that. Be sincere with yourself and say, how can I improve? How can I get better? But just remember that it could always be worse, and I don't know. So yeah, the cashier kept my change, and we left a positive review on Yelp. So he made my day. I ate my pizza, and life goes on. Thank you guys so much for the love and the support. We'll catch you guys in the next one.